Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. It is episode 246. I am Zachy Hassan. He is Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
It is April 30th as we record this.
Whoa. We're entering the summer months, at least movie-wise, right? May is kind of when summer kicks off.
Well, summer starts with the big Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we are single-digit days away from the next Marvel movie.
Yeah, and it's funny because Fast and the Furious seemed to, for a while, try to move the line a little bit closer, right? Because they were sort of April.
That's right.
Yeah, well, more on that later.
That's right. So what have you been up to? What's going on?
Oh, man.
You've been insanely busy lately.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. I wish I could talk more about it, but it's one of those things where you are so busy and you like wake up and you go right to work, and then you basically stop for dinner and a little time, with your significant other, and then you just go back to work until you fall asleep, and but at the same time, and so it naturally takes a toll on you, but at the same time, I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean? It's work.
I was about to say, like you, I would imagine, knowing you pretty well, that at the end of the day, you get to be like, man, I'm exhausted, but I get to spend all day doing X.
Yeah. I mean, it really is the perfect balance of that, where, I mean, every job, no matter how cool it is, becomes a job. Right. Like where you are banging your head against a wall at some point and you just can't figure things out and it's frustrating. But I certainly am very thankful to say that I'm doing something that I do love. I mean, this is what I've always wanted to do. So I will have those moments where I'm like, wow, I'm banging my head against the wall trying to figure out this,
Yeah.
And I wish I could speak more to it, and I will be able to soon. But you're like, wow. And you just get re-energized, and then, problems come your way. And then there's wrenches that get thrown into things. And then you're like, some days it's frustrating and other days you're like, a challenge, and you're like, let's do this kind of a thing and charge at it. So it's, I find I do best. And I think this is probably just good advice for all things, but just making sure I carve out time to recharge. And whether that's doing like something that I want to do. So if it's even listening to 30 minutes of a podcast or watching that show I wanted to see, or just reading for like an hour. You know what I've gotten really into lately is crossword puzzles.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird. I never
Wordle
used to do
get
them.
you there?
I think actually that might have been sort of the gateway. Yeah, maybe. And I do Wordle every morning. And but I just found, this was new to me, people are going to laugh who do these already, but like on the internet, you can do these crossword puzzles and it's so easy to type them in. And they also tell you when you've gotten a letter wrong. So I'm sure purists would be like, well, that's not how I would do it. But I'm just looking for a way.
People like savage.
Just to like zone out for a minute, but still keep my brain active and do something that I find pleasing. And so I've started doing about like 2 crossword puzzles a day, like usually at lunch. And then when I'm done with my work, and it's like, I don't know, it brings me some peace. So,
for me, my moment of zen during the day is, I've got my man cave set up, the Zach cave, as I call it.
Oh, which I really want to see. Yeah.
One day you will luxuriate in it.
Yeah.
And so honestly, like there's like a half hour a day when I come home from work and I just kind of sit in the cave and I, and I pull a comic collection off the shelf, just whichever one, and I just kind of flip through it, and it gives me such serenity. I can't begin to describe it.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I think with me there was a period, I think people could probably tell if you went back and listened, where I'm like, hey Zachy, where I wasn't even finding that moment. And it's just amazing what it does to you, because even now, I mean, even just like an hour, just like 30 minutes of you time, whatever that is. Yeah. And then I'm like reset for like the next day at least, and so it really does something to you.
It is kind of funny that if you were to go back and listen into the archives, which I will reiterate, we recommend you not do past a certain point, but you will see us aging or hear us aging in fast forward.
Probably, yeah.
Like when we start, we're so energized. We're like, "Did you see the new Batman?" Well, we're still like that, but
Yeah, sure.
but now we say that, but we're also like, my back hurts now.
Right.
There's a lot of
Zachy-
aches and pains.
Yeah, my heart hurts, Zach.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You know what I will
Oh
say,
my
though?
gosh.
When you talked about Batman, that just reminded me of a story, but I think people who listen may be able to relate. But we talk about targeted ads on the internet, Instagram, whatnot. I got this targeted ad that was just like, yeah, the new Batmobile remote control car. You need this. And I was like, I think I do. I think I do need that. And so I clicked on it and I was like, how much? It was only $20. I was like, $20? Are you kidding me? And so then I went on Amazon and it said, available to you tomorrow. And I was like, well, I can't wait that long. So I got in my car and I drove to Target and I bought the car. And I got to say, I've loved every second of it. Like when I just need to zone out, I go in the living room and we have hardwood floors. So I just
I'm picturing Federica getting woken up at like 3 a.m. Just going to the living room. There's you like in your jammies with your controller in your hand,
Not now, Gordon. Yeah, like, and it was funny too. She was out of town at the time, and I sent her a video. I set up the camera, so the Batmobile came right up to the camera and skidded to a stop and turned like right into the camera. And I was like, "Look what I did!" And
that's so funny.
It was honestly, it turned into a moment I will never forget because you just don't know if she's gonna be like, "Oh, you" or something. And then she just wrote back, "Just when I thought I couldn't love you anymore."
Look at that.
And I was like, "Oh, that's
she's a keeper."
That's how you know. It really, yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, there was a video on YouTube I was watching about like there's a upcoming Hot Toys Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think I said this to you. Like I got the Keaton Batman Hot Toys.
Yes.
And then I got the Ben Affleck Batman, the Justice League one. And then at that point, I was like, well, I guess I'm getting Val Kilmer and,
I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, I was like, what am I, an animal?
Right.
And so my wife happened to see me watching that video. She's like, so you're getting that one, right? I was like, yeah. She's like, all right. I was like, hey, okay, I think I broke her. Like,
yeah. It's just she. Yeah, it's like, yep, I know.
This is happening. I have to say, I said this on the show way back in the day when I pre-ordered my very first Hot Toys figure, and it was the Henry Cavill Superman from Justice League. I was like, that's the one. That's all I need, Brian.
That's all I need.
I'm going to get that. I'll be just fine. Thank you. And then rip, like 48 hours later, I've got like 6 more on pre-order. Right. I'm like, I'm a weak person.
Those are amazing. I mean, when the detail on those things. Actually, on Instagram, I started following a guy who like paints the faces for those things.
Yeah, that's right.
And he'll post
each
these
of them is hand painted.
It's incredible. I mean, the eyes and just the detail. It's it's not even you see like a CGI. When they like de-age someone in a movie and there's like a real softness to their face and whatnot.
That's right.
Like you could get away with that probably with these, figures or whatnot. But there's like pores and crow's feet on their eyes. And it's an incredible likeness. It's amazing.
And this is not just me trying to justify the college tuition that I have put into these figures.
Right.
But I mean, each of them really is an individual work of art.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is what I was yelling at my wife as she just walked out of the room. It's a work of art. You hear me?
Right. Actually, you're going to use, I just have the Johnny Depp trial, I think, on the brain with all the voice recordings. You're going to use this recording like where I'm evidence like E, it's like, yes, I concur. They are works of art. Like, Brian,
have you been paying attention to that, by the way?
Only on the most surfacey level because I am just sort of
Isn't it
amazed
kind of
how
icky?
definitely. I mean, it's
Right?
definitely a peek into an ugly sort of scenario, but
Yeah.
I'm just amazed how it's being covered in so many different manners of arenas, right?
Dude,
So
it's
it's
being covered like the OJ trial.
yeah. And yeah, the sort of, I mean, I haven't been watching late night, but I guess our new late night, right? Where there's just TikToks where, there's like highlights of the trial set to the music from Nintendo Wii, which is just, you know, which is weird that saying it out loud now, I think is the first time I realized how kind of weird and gross that is. But
Yeah.
and yet I watch. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's
I mean, have you been paying attention?
only to the extent that my students are making me aware of things.
So they're into it. That's interesting.
They're super into it. So I'll be like, hey, what's going on? Oh, you hear what, Johnny Depp said that Amber Heard left a dookie in his bed. And I was like, is that like a Mad Libs that you just, what?
Johnny Depp said Amber Heard. That is hilarious. That does sound like a Mad Lib.
Right? So apparently that's it. So I'm no relationship expert, as my wife will attest, but I'm going to go ahead and say, if your relationship reaches the point where somebody's leaving fecal matter in the bed,
It's time to go.
and we don't know if it's human or animal. That's the other. I'm going to say, maybe it's time to move on.
Right.
So it seems to me like.
Okay, good. Sorry, so good.
It seems like these are just two people that should not have ended up together.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, 100%. It just sounds.
This is not oil and water. This is oil and fire.
Right. What does Johnny Depp or Amber Heard mean to your students? I mean, did they grow up with Jack Sparrow or something?
Yeah, they know. I would say Johnny Depp more than they know Amber Heard.
Sure.
But that's the other thing. I saw some footage of Johnny Depp, testifying, and he's being so theatrical, and he's kind of
yeah.
And I was like, does he think he's Jack Sparrow?
I mean, maybe he is. I don't know.
Because I've heard him do I know he doesn't talk like that normally.
Mm-hmm.
It's very odd, But there was that one clip, and I sent that to you, where he talks about how his career just kind of fell out from under his feet.
Yes.
And he's like, he alluded to like, oh, it's like being Cinderella, and then you just have everything taken away. And I was like, I mean, not in any way justifying or even commenting on what he's been accused of. But I'm like, I mean, that is kind of sad,
I am no expert on this, so I have who knows, but I did. Yeah, it was a sad sort of, I don't know, portrait of a person.
I mean, there was a minute, and we're far enough past that minute that you have to remind people, like, where Johnny Depp was the hottest actor in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it really does feel like it went away. I mean, I think it started to go away before this stuff. This didn't help, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's like I tell my kids, like, there was a time when Arnold Schwarzenegger was the number one star in the world, and they're like, "What are you, crazy?"
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
And like, we can file Johnny Depp into that. Like, really?
And for a very long time, I mean, he, as at least late teens or early 20s, I mean, with like 21 Jump Street, I mean, he's experienced this, life for a very long time.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, he's gone through, like, I was too young for 21 Jump Street, but I remember it. And I knew it was very popular. But then for me, it was sort of like Edward Scissorhands and the whole 90s, Ed Wood and all that. And so he was one of those people who also got to be a mainstream popular guy, but still make his weird movies.
That's right.
So he's had quite a ride.
And really, I mean, it was Jack Sparrow that like launched him to a whole other level.
Yes.
And so if we go from if we use Pirates as a start point for like his stratospheric phase,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was probably a good 10 years
that
he was there, right?
Yeah.
So
anyway, interesting to see how this plays out. That's so funny. I hadn't even thought to compare it to OJ. But in terms of, I mean, nothing will probably ever be like that trial. That was so unique. But like, in terms of,
but are kids gonna look like we're gonna have American Crime Story, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard like 20 years from now?
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
And there will be There will be the Schmovie Schmilm podcast hosted by, Brad and Ziggy.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, this show is just like when we remember when we watched the Johnny Depp trial. I don't know why they're going to sound like that, but
I hope they do.
But remember when we were kids and remember when Johnny talked about the poo in his bed? It was crazy how they dramatized that,
I think the only thing preventing it from being that is probably the how many more things there are to think about and look at these days, right? Because OJ, I mean, what else was there to in terms of TV and no internet?
Don't you miss the simple good old days when a murder trial captivated the country? the simple pleasure of opining about a murder trial.
Yeah, and being able to watch it like your favorite television show and remember all the episodes, and even though it's real life. Yeah.
Anyway, what have you seen lately, other than Johnny Depp being on the stand, on the witness stand?
Well, I just I thought I'd mention this, but last night, Federica and I went and saw Jeff Goldblum and his Mildred Snitzer Orchestra, which is his jazz band, basically. I didn't know this. I'd seen him play with this band before in like a really small venue, and he was for several months he was playing, I believe, every Wednesday. So I mean, you could just go see him play jazz piano with this combo is probably not the right word. I guess they call themselves an orchestra, but like guitar, stand-up bass, drums, and last night they had horns, and he just plays jazz standards, and every now and then has someone come up and sing, and it was really cool seeing him in the intimate setting maybe like 5 years ago. But then last night he was at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, and and I was pleased to see that he had the exact same rapport with the audience, which the first time I saw him, he is just it was just, I think Federica at one point just leaned over like, I love this man. Like he's just so endearing. And we walked in and the show hadn't even started yet. And we heard someone doing sort of like a warm up with the crowd. And then we're like, oh, that's Jeff Goldblum. And he was just out there like playing, the movie game where he'd be like, Jason Schwartzman, and someone would go, oh, Rushmore. And he's like, Rushmore, Wes Anderson, work with him a few times. I don't know if it's out of school, working with him again. Bill Murray. And then someone would go, what about Bob? And he was doing that for like 20 minutes until the person, whoever runs like the stage manager or someone was like, Jeff, we actually have to play an announcement. Can we do that real quick? And he's like, what? And then basically they're like, the exits are on the, like they had to get the show going because he would have talked to the audience the whole time. But yeah, he played at least maybe about 2 hours, somewhere around there. But I mean, there was a lot of patter, a lot of jokes. It was a really good time. And I think he tours every now and then with this band. So I would definitely recommend it. If you're a fan of Jeff Goldblum, you get what you're hoping for. You get some great music, and you also get Jeff Goldblum just completely interacting with you and having a good time.
Yeah, a couple years ago, he was supposed to come up here for the Silicon Valley Comic-Con. He was going to be signing autographs and whatnot. And so I had, pre-ordered like a little package there because, I mean, my kids, like, they love Jeff Goldblum,
sure,
of course, right? So I really wanted them to have that experience. Unfortunately, he canceled at the last minute. So now we hate Jeff Goldblum. That's the end of that story. That's my supervillain origin story.
That's hilarious.
I'm hoping he does it again, though. I hope.
Yeah. Now he just seems to genuinely like people in the interaction of it all, which is just, it's palpable. It makes for a really pleasant.
Well, I mean, you've seen his Disney show, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's literally him just being fascinated by stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is how you make sneakers.
Yeah,
I just saw a video, and it's Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. The Jurassic marketing is kicking in, so it's the three of them sort of talking about their experience making the original film, and then working on this new one, and they're all sitting together, And it's very much that. It's very much Jeff Goldblum being very Goldblumy, and there's Laura Dern in the middle, and you see Sam Neill. And I have to imagine there's a part of Sam Neill that probably hit his Jeff Goldblum threshold like a while ago.
Sure.
Because there's the look on his face to me because they talk about how they were filming the movie during COVID.
Yes.
And so that they had the option, like, okay, we can get like separate bungalows for you,
Yeah.
or we can put you all in one hotel together. And Goldblum's like, and I said, hey, why don't we all just stay together? And you picture Samuel being like,
kind of like his character, just like,
and I'm totally projecting. I'm sure they get along famously.
Sure. Sure. But you can imagine being like, my gosh, are you like this all the time?
Yeah, I mean. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
No. Well, I think I need to let everybody know this. Zachy last week bought me a gift. So,
and it was the best $5 I ever spent.
That's right. Basically explaining how I got to this movie that I watched. Every now and then I listen to this podcast. I don't listen to every episode, but on occasion I listen to Blank Check, which is a really great podcast. I don't know if you've heard it, but they go through directors' filmographies, and they'll do every single movie, like the ones that everyone knows and the ones that nobody knows. And they do really great deep dives. And I saw they were doing Sam Raimi, and there's, obviously a few I'm looking forward to more than others, but I saw they just did The Quick and the Dead. And I was like, The Quick and the Dead? Wait, that's like a Western, right? With Sharon Stone and Leonardo DiCaprio and like Sam Raimi, a Western. Like, I started looking at the credits. I was like, Alan Silvestri did the score? Like, Keith David is in this? So I was like, okay, I got to watch this. Long story short, I tried it on Prime and it kept buffering. It was driving me crazy. So I was like, all right, I use Zachy's voodoo. I'm just going to buy it for him, right? For us.
For me.
But then I realized as I was about to buy it that it's connected to his account, like his credit card or whatever it is. So I was like, oh, well, there's really no generous way to do this. So I texted you and I was like, Zachy.
I think it would have been funnier, honestly, if you texted me, you're like, hey, just letting you know, I bought The Quick and the Dead on your voodoo for you.
Right.
I'm like, thank you.
Also, don't click on it for the next 2 hours because I'm going to watch it. Yeah. But it was funny because then I was like, dude, I'll just Venmo you or whatever. And you're like, no, I'll get it. And I was like, sorry.
One day, and this day may never come, Brian. I'll ask a service of you.
Yeah.
Cut to you like waiting inside somebody's house to garrote them. All because I bought The Quick and the Dead for you.
Oh man. Well, and I was glad I did because it worked much better on Vudu, I have to say.
I wonder why that is.
It drives me crazy. Well, here's another thing I think people may have noticed or be interested in. I actually did notice that the transfer felt better on Prime. It looked like a newer capture or transfer or whatever.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so the color looked a little richer. It looked a little cleaner. I mean, it was noticeable, but it wasn't awful. I mean, it's still fine on Vudu. But that made me wonder too, like, where do these streamers get these things? I mean, are there just different, they update files and they forget to send them to everybody, or I don't know.
I wonder how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to hear a podcast about it, honestly. But yes, Quick and the Dead. So the only thing I remember about this was being a kid and my friend's parents had rented it on VHS and they didn't like it. That's the only thing I remembered about it. And here's the summary.
This is like 96, I want to say, right?
Yeah, 95. Yep.
Okay, that's close.
So it says a female gunfighter returns to a frontier town where a dueling tournament is being held, which she enters in an effort to avenge her father's death. And what's funny about this movie, I feel like I appreciated it more thinking about it afterwards. This is what I'll say. If you really enjoy Sam Raimi, if you really can put aside sort of a weak narrative because a movie looks great, I think you will enjoy this movie.
Okay. Caveat noted.
Yeah, like the plot, there really isn't a ton of plot, honestly. I mean, it really is almost like a video game in that, and I guess the writer of this was even like, I love shootouts in Westerns. What if I made a movie that was just shootouts for like 2 hours? And I think they did a pretty interesting job trying to make each. No, they did a very good job, actually. And Sam Raimi, especially, I mean, the casting and the way it was directed, each shootout has its own style, and each character is absolutely a caricature, but they're very memorable because they're cast so well, like Keith David, Lance Henriksen, Russell Crowe. This is his first U.S. film, and he's so good in this.
Wow.
Gene Hackman is like on fire in this film. It's I would say it's style over substance, and there's not a ton of narrative thrust to it. But what kept me going was I was enjoying the style. Okay. Right. And I think at a certain point, once you get through, round 1, round 2, round 3, and you start getting to the meat and potatoes characters that actually have beef with one another and backstories, that's when it really kicks in and becomes dramatically interesting.
It does feel like Sony overestimated the appetite to see Sharon Stone as a gunfighter.
And I think, and I have to attribute Blank Check to this because I listened to them dig into all this. But I mean, you think about it. I mean, this is like the height of her powers, right? Like she had Basic Instinct, which made her an instant star.
Arguably, it's the end of her powers.
Yes. And yes, 100%, because I can't remember what year Casino came out. It may have been the same year, but she got an Oscar for Casino, right? And now this is her using her powers to make this movie because she wants to be the lead in this like Western, and she picked Sam Raimi because she loved Army of the Dead. Yeah. And right? Am I saying that right?
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. Sorry, I knew I was messing that up.
That's Zack Snyder did Army of the Dead. All right.
Yes, that's right. That's why it's on the tip of my brain.
But it's like his effing name out your mouth.
I love that. That's like a new. But that's pretty interesting because it's not like she picked some sort of conventional Western type person. She picked someone who's like who has a signature visual voice, right? Yeah. But she's like, that's what I want. And she got Gene Hackman, and she's like, I want Russell Crowe, this guy nobody knows. And he like kicks butt in this movie. So good. She paid for Leonardo DiCaprio's salary because she believed in him so much. Like, it's pretty impressive, her as a producer on this film, what she willed into existence, even though it wasn't a success. And I would say even the movie itself it's not the home run you wish it was, but it's certainly an interesting time capsule. And again, I know I can definitely do this. I know not everyone does, but I can enjoy a movie even if it's just visually interesting and I enjoy looking at it. And that I would say for at least the first half is what got me through it. And then I'd say, like I said, it kicks in the second half. But it's interesting. I really think you should watch it. I think it's worth your time, and I'd love to hear what you think.
Well, I guess I have to now that I spent my money.
No, I left it for you there.
I will check it out. Yeah, I see. You know what's funny is my memory of The Quick and the Dead is seeing commercials for it during like Fox primetime. Like that's.
Oh, really?
I just have very distinct memories of that.
Yeah.
Nothing about the movie itself, just all them commercials.
Wow, that's so interesting.
During Ally McBeal or whatever.
Funny. I will say too, it was fun hearing Silvestri, a new Silvestri score that I hadn't heard before.
And I think especially because Raimi tends to work with Danny Elfman.
Yeah, right. And it is that. It's definitely the bombastic Silvestri. So it was very Predator reminiscent.
Okay.
Which I really love. And I mean, he's still doing it, right? And he's still making great scores. But I really do love that sort of era of Silvestri, which reminds me of, it's not as kooky, I'd say, as Elfman, but definitely like big horns, big sounds. Like it seems like now music's trying to sort of blend in with the movie. Mm-hmm. Whereas back then the music was like punching you in the face a little bit.
Back in our day.
Yeah, which when in the right film, that can work.
Well, I saw a thing.
Yeah, what'd you see?
I saw two things actually. I saw The Bad Guys. You heard of this?
I've seen posters for this, but I have to admit I haven't seen a lot of it.
This is the as of last weekend, it was the number one movie in the country. I don't know what's number one right now, but this is an animated movie
Mhm.
from DreamWorks. It's the latest DreamWorks joint, and it's based on a series of children's books, which I had no idea about. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
about this. It's about a group of animals who have been historically pegged as the bad guys. So
Mm,
you've got piranha and shark and a snake and a wolf and a tarantula.
right.
And they're basically like, all right, well, since everybody thinks we're the bad guys, let's be bad guys anyway. And they are a group of robbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sam Rockwell plays the lead. He's the big bad wolf.
I can imagine that, sure.
You totally. And what's hilarious is that, like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, that sounds so much like George Clooney.
Oh, like the writing or the performance?
No, the performance,
Yeah, yeah.
it sounds like because the character is sort of a Danny Ocean type.
Yeah, sure,
I
sure.
was like, did they actually get Clooney? And then I find out it's Sam Rockwell, and that makes sense because he worked with Clooney on what was that? The
Oh, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
there you go, exactly. Right? I was like, oh, okay, but it was funny because I was like, man, he's totally doing a Clooney. And then there's a point in the film where like the wolf has to like charm this female character, and his associates are like, oh, he's going full Clooney. I was like, okay, they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
It's I mean, it's I mean, you know what it is. It's
Sure.
But I think of these types of movies, I've seen bad ones, I've seen decent ones, and this is more closer to the decent side of the spectrum.
Oh, that's good.
I enjoyed that.
Did your kids go with you?
I did, yeah. That's pretty much the one nice thing. Well, two nice things. I mean, I did it for work. I wrote a review of it, but I get to take like 4 kids for free, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
All things considered. And then I have also seen, Brian, I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
I've seen the first 5 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Yes, I've seen you post on this, so I'm eager to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen me post incessantly about it, and I apologize. Except I don't. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. So this is a prequel to the original Star Trek.
Okay.
It is set 10 years prior to the original series, and it's about the original USS Enterprise, captained by Christopher Pike, who was played by Anson Mount. He was, of course, played by Bruce Greenwood in those reboot movies.
Right.
So you've got
I
Ethan
dare you
Peck.
to do better.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Ethan Peck plays Mr. Spock. He is Lieutenant Spock, and Rebecca Romaine is the first officer, Una O'Reilly.
Okay.
And it's just this is going to start streaming on Paramount Plus. I think this coming Thursday for 10 weeks, and it's such a great throwback in the best way possible to sort of old school Star Trek, and not merely the original series, but the style of all of the shows that aired through like 2004, which put the focus on self-contained stories. And to me, that's such a big part of Star Trek, for me anyway, is I like being able to just throw on an episode of Star Trek. And you sort of be like, oh, what's the planet this week? Or what's the mystery this, or what alien are they going to deal with this week, And, there's on Paramount Plus, there's Star Trek Discovery, which has been on for 4 seasons now. There's Picard, which is just wrapping up its 10th second season. And I've enjoyed those to varying degrees, but, they're telling a season-long story.
I see. Yeah.
Right. They're doing what is more the model these days. And there's a place for that. I'm all about that. But I'm also like, sometimes you just want the one and done. So this is very much, it's in the flavor of I would say original show, or certainly Next Generation. It has a modern aesthetic, very much beholden to the Abrams films.
I was going to ask about that. If it was trying to place itself near in timeline and whatnot to the original. I was wondering what the style was like if it tried
So,
to.
well, here's what I'll say. I mean, the Enterprise bridge looks nothing like the Abrams films, because they kind of look like the Apple Store or something. With this, it here's the way I would say it. You know what the original TV Enterprise looked like, right? The bridge.
Yeah.
This looks like if you squint your eyes, they're the same one.
Right.
But this, they've got the benefit of much more money to really zazz it up and make it look spiffy. But it's very much meant to be a show that fits in canon with that original show without having the exact same production ethic, right? So they're not doing like cosplay of the original show.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And then you got Anson Mount. This guy, my goodness.
That is like a name I feel I'm so familiar with, but I don't know that I can say why.
I mean, he's one of these guys who's been kicking around since forever, and he's done some very good work. He was on the show called Hell on Wheels, about the railroad.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, and he was really
good.
Is that
FX or something?
It was FX. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then he was on a show called Inhumans, which was one of those Marvel failures on ABC.
Oh, okay.
And he was very good on it, despite it being not a very good show. He was actually the love interest in the Britney Spears movie.
Oh, Crossroads?
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I obviously am aware of it. But that's great. Isn't that great? I love it when people find the thing. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's had a really happy career and enjoyed a lot of this and that and whatever. But like when you settle into something and it just feels good and you couldn't have predicted it 5 years previous, and like it makes you really happy for them.
Yeah, it's been really cool because he's given these interviews where he's like, I'm still like, when I hear myself saying I'm the captain of the USS Enterprise, like my brain doesn't even know how to process that.
Yeah.
So he's just coming at it as a fan, right? And I was thinking, like, yeah, I mean, this is going to be like, I mean, hopefully he'll be known for other things, but he will have this for the rest of his life.
Yep.
Like people will always be excited to see him because of this show, because it's Star Trek, and he's fantastic. I mean, he's really good. Like you realize how for these Star Trek shows, I mean, you haven't watched them. I've been watching them all my life, right? And how much of it depends on who you cast as the captain,
right?
Because the everything revolves around that, So like the show Enterprise, which starred Scott Bakula, right? It's like, well, it's Scott Bakula, right? He's just naturally charismatic, and he's got. I'm going to go ahead and say he's got the Bakula touch, Brian.
Sure,
he's Bakulesque.
All right.
Yeah. So he's great. I've seen 5 of the 10 episodes, and I absolutely love it. Anybody listening knows what a big Star Trek fan I am. I recommend it unabashedly.
Oh man, that's great.
Unless they completely shit the bed, Amber Heard style, in the latter 5 episodes.
I had to put that together because I was like, wait, in terms of casting, in terms of like someone who's in there.
No, I mean literally, right?
Yeah, literally.
Unless it completely goes topsy-turvy in the second half of the season, which I can't imagine it will. But, there's 5 episodes. And again, the virtue of having these one-and-done stories where, there's like continuing subplots, but you see the wide range of stories you can tell. So like here's one where it's like, oh, this is like a first contact scenario. Here's one where it's like a submarine movie in space. And here's one where it's like a mind swap, and you can do all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, I like that. The possibility.
Now that said, I have a feeling Star Trek fans will find a way to complain.
Right.
Because it's kind of their thing. It's what they do.
I'm noticing that with Picard, right? I think some people weren't digging it at first, but it seems now it's settled in something everybody likes. Is that?
No, people still,
Okay.
Honestly, we've talked about this before. Like, if my fandom brings me to a point where I'm actively like angry about something, I'll just move on to something else.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fathom continuing to spend time raging about something.
Yeah.
Because life's too short. And so whether Star Wars or Star Trek or anything, like any of these fandoms, right? It's just like people just rage about stuff.
Yeah. I know
get
this
it.
isn't the same at all, but it made me think of like the Terminator series.
Sure.
And it's like, I mean, by and large, those movies are not great. You know,
Right.
I mean, really, like
Yeah.
the percentage at this point. But
That's
but
true.
but you know what? I still like it. You know, so
Yeah.
it's even the ones that aren't great, I still find something to sort of enjoy in it, even though I probably never watch them again. And
Yeah.
then when the next one comes out, I'll be first in line. Like I don't know. I guess that's how I
Well,
roll.
I mean, it's like when you and I talked about Dark Fate,
Yeah.
which was either 3 years or 300 years ago. I don't remember anymore.
hmm
Neither of us liked it, is my
No.
recollection. And we were like, all right, well, that was unfortunate. And then we just moved on, right?
Yeah, you move on. And like I will, Terminator 2 will live inside me for like the rest of my life. You're like, that's not
Yeah.
going anywhere. You know what I mean? So
And the thing is with that movie specifically, like I know that there's people out there whose opinions I respect who really like it.
totally, which is awesome.
And I'm like, hey, great. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. I mean, it's not my jam, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody got to relax. Is my point. I think just to sort of put a pin on this whole discussion, right? To me, people like I love the idea of canon. I love the
Mm.
idea of something in a new thing here that's paying off something from way back there, and by virtue of our emotional connection to that previous thing, it makes this new thing mean something more, and the ability to kind of expand. And I like that.
hmm
Like I don't like when movie series always reboot, because I'm like, that you're throwing away our accrued emotional investment.
You
Does
know
that make
what's
sense?
funny, by the way? On that note, Federica has a friend staying with us, and she doesn't follow entertainment as closely as we do, right? And so I mentioned something about, I hear the Top Gun 2 is getting really good early, buzz.
Yeah.
And she's like, Top Gun 2, and she got like really, upset about it, thinking about like, don't they have any original ideas? And
Mhm.
like, who in the world can play that character again? And I was like, oh no, it's not like a reboot, like it's an actual sequel with Tom Cruise. And then she's like,
Mhm.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. See.
You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, there's something kind of neat when it's done well.
Yeah,
Let's
and
revisit these people years later.
that's exactly, like, we can be very cynical about it, but I think that says something about our emotional investment, right? I think there's a
Mm-hmm.
reason, for example, that Ghostbusters Afterlife was
Mm.
generally better regarded than the other one, because it was leaning into our
Yes.
familiarity. But anyway, here's my point. I think continuity and canon can just as much become a prison of the mind, where certainly, like, in the fandom, it becomes a reason to be like, oh well, this said this, and in this one he said his jacket was blue, and now we see the jacket and it's green. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that type of stuff drives me crazy. And I've just learned this about myself. My preference is, hey, you know what, I'd rather just find a way to make it all fit.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and maybe that means I come up with some explanation in my head, whatever. I'd just rather be like, hey, these are human beings who make mistakes, and they're doing this. Like,
Yeah.
like, let's give them the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny. I know I've always in my head the Christian Bale one. What is that one called? Terminator
Salvation.
Salvation. I remember not liking that one very much. And it became sort of like, Terminator Salvation bad, kind of a
Yeah.
thing. And then I saw like a bit of it on cable, and I was like, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to like it as much as any of the others, but I was like, well, what I'm watching is watchable,
Yeah.
and I didn't see the whole thing, so I don't remember how it all hangs together, but it kind of, even just talking about it now, is making me want to go back and kind of revisit all those Terminator
Yeah.
sequels, just to, I don't know, putting all the expectations out. And again, I don't think they're ever going to sit on the shelf with the others for me in my heart, but I don't know. I'm a little curious to go back and kind of see them again.
But they don't need to.
They don't need to. Yeah.
It's so funny because I just last week I was talking to my nephew, who is God, he's like 23 now,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, hey, let me ask you, what do you think of the Star Wars sequels? This is my nephew asking me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, I think they're fine, and he's like, I just, they just don't work for me. And he like went into it for like a good 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been there, man. It's cool.
Sure.
Like you'll come around, because when you think about it, he was born in December of '99.
Wow. Right. Yeah.
So for him, Star Wars is episodes 1 through 6.
Yes.
Like that. My point is this. I remember maybe 12 years ago where my brother and I were talking about something Star Wars related, and we made some Jar Jar centric joke. And my nephew, same nephew, he's like, what's wrong with Jar Jar?
Right.
Right? But now he's like, I don't know, I don't like it. Right?
Right.
And I'm like, son, you'll get there. Don't worry. Because I was like, look, I can point out like 20 different problems I have with all of them.
Sure.
But I can also be like, you know what? At the end of the day, I can just take them for what they are because my Star Wars is those 3 movies and it'll always be those 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need it. I don't need anything else to give me what those movies give me.
100%. Yep.
There we go. We just solved. I'm just gonna say we created world peace. Just now.
I know. I think I just saw a dove appear in front of me and fly away.
Well, let's take a short break and we'll come back. We got some listener letters. And we're back. We got some new correspondence from MovieFilm listeners. We're always grateful for that. Here we go. This is from Rob Kelly, who posted on our Facebook page. And he said, which is, by the way, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. He says, for some reason, I saw Morbius, and yeah, it's not good. But I didn't find it to be aggressively bad, like, say, Suicide Squad, which I felt pummeled me into submission with its tacky awfulness.
Mm-hmm.
No, the issue with Morbius, in my opinion, is that it's so predictable, it unfolds exactly like how you'd expect it to, as if you put all the elements into an algorithm and had it 3D print a movie.
That's good. That's good.
Not a line of dialogue, not a performance choice, not a plot beat is anything other than entirely predictable, except, and you guys mentioned this on the show, for the opening and closing credits, they have a weird 80s vibe. I half expected Tangerine Dream to start playing. And when the movie opened, I love Tangerine Dream, by the way. Right?
Wait, what?
Oh, I love Tangerine Dream.
Oh, for sure. But you're right. Like that was the aesthetic of, for some random reason, of the opening and closing of the film.
He says, when the movie opened with them, I actually felt a twinge of optimism that Morbius might actually be more imaginative than I expected. Alas, no. And then they come back for the end. So in a genuinely non-sarcastic way, I would say the best part about the movie was the credits.
I know.
What's funny to me is I read Rob's entire letter and I said, what's a Morbius? Because I've already forgotten about it.
I know.
And so has America. I think it's making $- now.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I mean, in my memory, that's what I was feeling was I was surprised that it wasn't terrible. It was more just entirely just rote and boring. Just a complete color by numbers superhero movie trademark. Yeah. Whatever. Like it just, yeah.
Which there is a movie called Superhero Movie.
That's, was it like a parody?
Yeah, it's one of the Zucker things.
Yeah, with Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen.
What's funny, by the way, is Liam Neeson has a new movie out called Memory.
Yeah, did you see who directed it?
Yeah, Martin Campbell, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, hey, it's a new movie. And I knew we weren't going to be recording on Thursday. I was like, hey, I'll go see it. And I reserved a seat. Oh, no. And then ironically, for the movie called Memory, I forgot about it.
Oh.
So I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Wait, it's out? I didn't even know it was out.
Okay, well, I think you might be speaking for the majority of the country then.
I swear, I had no idea. Like, I was even on the Regal app the other day to get the Nick Cage movie tickets. Like, wow.
Yeah, it is out, and I'm assuming it'll be out of theaters shortly.
Well, I mean, Martin Campbell, Liam Neeson, that's happening. So
am I wrong, by the way, that the Broccoli's should get Martin Campbell to do the next first James Bond movie?
Frankly, he should be their rabbit's foot for kicking off a new iteration. Yeah,
GoldenEye, Casino Royale, whoever the next guy is.
I vote aye.
Get him on the horn. Let's make that happen.
Yeah. Get him on the horn.
Thank you for that, Rob. And here's a note I got from Marshall Perry. This is on Twitter. And he says, I threw on the Batman Forever commentary, one of my favorites, to fall asleep last night. You guys recorded at the beginning of the pandemic, and you said, maybe we'll finally have time for that Godfather commentary. And then Brian was like, yeah, maybe it's time to finally watch The Wire. So congrats, you did it.
Thanks, Marshall. And that is... Wow, who really gets the benefit of that, right? Like, we say things and forget them all the time, but to have that brought to our attention, and I feel very proud of us.
Here's what's funny. One of my students was like, hey, I discovered your podcast, and I listened to your episode from 2020, where you look back at the best movies of 2019. And I was like, oh, what was that like? And he's like, hey, it was fun, whatever. And so I put on some of that. I put on the beginning, and I say... At the beginning, this is like January of 2020, I say, oh, we're talking about these movies from 2019. Who knows what 2020 will bring in hindsight?
Wow.
And so I'm worried I might have caused everything.
Yeah, right. I know.
It wasn't clear that I was saying it ironically.
It's wild. I still have, there's moments where we all have experienced what we've experienced together, and you gotten a little bit used to what is time, that sort of expression, but it's every now and then something punctuates it and you're reminded and you go, wow, like you just in that moment in time did not see this coming, and who would have thought, and all those sorts of things.
Yeah. So yeah. I feel like everything I say now, I have to knock on wood afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
A good thing the pandemic's over.
Yeah, right. I know, exactly, right?
Even though it's not technically over, but you get it.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Marshall. And I love, by the way, that commentary made enough of a mark for somebody to want to go back and listen to it.
I know. I was thinking that too.
I'm trying to imagine falling asleep listening to my voice, and it sounds goddamn horrifying. I got to be honest.
No. Well, I enjoy it, I have to say. So, sorry.
Go ahead,
I was just gonna say, I know you and I both talk about every now and then going back to just check something or remembering something or whatnot. And I edit the show, and I will admit, I do find myself sometimes getting lulled by it. Like I start listening, but like the weird part of it is when you say something, my brain conjures a response, and then I hear myself say what my brain...
I've had a similar experience.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very weird. And it doesn't matter if it's the episode we just did or if it's an episode from like 3 years ago that I'm hearing again. It's a really weird sort of thing.
You realize we're sort of locked into certain patterns.
Yeah, definitely. I our whole audience right now is like nodding like, uh-huh.
Here's a new review that we have up on Apple Podcasts, Brian.
Okay.
And this is from Jiminy JWD40.
All right.
There you go. Which is it took me a second, actually, just as I realized it, I was like, oh, WD40. That's funny.
Oh, that's good. And by the way, I'm really impressed with how you said that so well the first time. Like I'm looking at it and I was like, oh wait, how would I say that? And then you said it perfectly.
So this review is labeled a delight. And it says, is it like listening to your friends? Like every other podcast review? Sure. But they're still great, and I will stop whatever I'm doing when a new episode drops. And hey, send them an email. They'll probably respond. The pod is charming and worth your time.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't that nice?
Thank you very much. That's like that's exactly what you hope to hear.
I agree. It's a nice feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, speaking of things that we were hoping to hear, there was a lot of that out of CinemaCon this past week.
Yeah.
Now, CinemaCon is a thing, for those of you who don't know. It happens every year, and it's kind of, now it's sort of, again, it's because it kind of was put on pause recently, pandemic-wise, you understand. But it's an opportunity for the studios to show their wares for the coming year to theater owners.
Mm-hmm.
So you have theater owners and you have the press who are covering this thing, and so inevitably you have people online who are like, "Well, I want to see it," and it's like, "Yeah, you'll see it eventually."
Mm-hmm.
But this is not for you normies. This is for the big shots.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that honestly, even I didn't know this till not terribly long ago, but I mean, yeah, they're wooing theater owners to entice them to book their movies on more screens, right? So this is them trying to be like, dude, you won't even believe how cool this movie's going to be. You got to put this on
That's
10
right.
screens,
That's right.
right? So that's what these sort of sizzle reels that they're presenting to theater owners.
So some interesting announcements that came out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Disney. The big thing is that they actually showed footage from Avatar 2, the long gestating Avatar 2.
I mean, it was 2009 was when the first one came out, right?
2009.
So, and it was obvious they were going to do a sequel, and they've been talking about a sequel for years, but it really did become one of those things where it was like, yeah, even when they said that they were in production, it was like, yeah, we'll see.
It is. I mean, at this point, this is not a new observation, but is there an audience for Avatar 2?
I am so curious.
Yeah,
curious.
exactly. I'm not even being like, yeah, who's gonna want to watch that? I who knows? I don't know.
No clue. And you know what's interesting too is that movie came out. It was, well, I was gonna say totally original. Many people would disagree, but what I mean is, it was James Cameron doing something very different, and it really capitalized.
It was not a pre-existing IP.
Yeah, but I mean, just the movie, the experience itself. That's what I was trying to say. Is this was him really making a push for 3D, and when you went, it was incredibly immersive. It felt like a new type of experience, right? And when I saw the images from Avatar 2 that were posted, I got to admit, like I wasn't. You could have told me those were from the first film, and I would have been like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So, and that's something that works against it a little bit, is we've been dazzled by this world already. So, like, what is going to make everyone have to go out and see this thing when it looks very similar to the first one, right?
Yeah.
I'm not rooting against it. I love James Cameron. I love his filmmaking, so I want to see a new James Cameron movie. So I'm in. But I am very curious.
So this one comes out in December.
Okay, and that's like such a smart slot, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else really around that time.
Yep, and then you get a couple months for it to just sit in theaters.
Well, and that's of course when the first one came out, was in December.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. And they're re-releasing. So this one is called Avatar: The Way of Water.
Mm-hmm.
And they are re-releasing the first Avatar to theaters in September.
Makes sense.
To kind of wet people's whistle. But I don't know, because I watched the movie with my kids a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, eh.
Mm.
Like, I mean, they were mostly engaged.
Yeah.
But they haven't thought about it since.
I'm trying to think of another example where the world was all in on something, and then it really had to be in that moment.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even at the time, I'm not saying that the whole world was swept up in it, but I mean, it became easily the world's, or the top grossing film of all time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a phenomenon, but what was it about it in that moment? I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you. I think part of those grosses can be attributed to the fact that people were paying for IMAX and 3D.
Mm-hmm. But many times, obviously, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know there were people who were real gung ho and who went again and again. I had the one experience in the theater, and I was like, that was good. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched it 10 years later, and I was like, that was good. I enjoyed it. But there was nothing in between those 2 points.
Yeah.
There was no longing on my part for see, I was gonna use some like witty reference to like Avatar language. I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, your Halo connection was not as strong.
Is that a thing from the?
Yeah, that's when they tie their tail or their hair.
Okay, well, you got one up on me.
I don't know why, but there's just certain things. I think my brother and I we joke about it a lot. We talk about Halos and Jake Sully.
I just know Jake Sully. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's coming.
That's coming.
Let's see. Other announcements that were made. We have the Batman 2 coming.
Yep. Probably no
Which
surprise, but still nice to know. It's official.
it's a shock, right? This Barbie movie is actually happening.
Yeah, which they've been trying to get going for a little while. I remember there was an Amy Schumer iteration.
That's right.
Right? And now this is Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie and
like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they said yesterday or the day before it will not have the Aqua song Barbie Girl.
Right.
At which point I'm like, why are you even doing it then?
Right.
Cue me flipping over a table and storming out of the room.
It does make you wonder, I mean, what the take's going to be. I mean, obviously there has to be some sort of take.
It's going to be like a Lego movie type thing, right?
Mm.
Like, I mean, what else can you do?
I have no idea. I really don't.
Like, yeah, I'm like, well, Greta Gerwig is an interesting filmmaker. Margot Robbie's a smart actor.
Yep. She's always solid. Like, she just picks good stuff. She's always good in it. So there
neither of them needs to do this.
Yes.
So
right.
that's the only thing that has me interested. Like, well, what is their take on it? You know.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan Gosling. I mean, I think he's an underrated comedian, right? So I'm sure there's going to be comedic elements to his Ken, I imagine, and
that's right.
I'm sure it's going to be fun.
And then, speaking of Warner Brothers, this was interesting. Olivia Wilde was on stage, and she gets served while on stage. You see this?
Yeah. I look forward to the Hulu 8-episode series about this.
So, what's funny to me is I follow somebody on Twitter who was in the hall when it's
really
happened. And he's like, I think Olivia Wilde just got served. I was like, what? And then like 6 hours later, everyone's talking about it. That she was engaged to Jason Sudeikis,
mm-hmm.
and so I guess he's suing her for custody. And so the process server found her there. And I was thinking, like, he hands her a thing, or he or she, I don't know, and she takes it and then opens it up, and she kind of looks at it and then continues with the presentation. But I'm like, where's security in this joint?
Yeah, someone just I have not seen footage, or I've read sort of the little recap of it, but I didn't realize that it was on stage. Wow,
that's right.
Wow, yeah, for real. Yeah. I mean, just some stranger coming onto stage. That's crazy.
That feels kind of nuts. And Sudeikis is like, well, I didn't know that was going to happen, and I have no idea if that's true or not. Mm-hmm. But again, all this stuff playing out in front of the public, icky.
Yeah, icky. Agreed.
You know? Speaking of nuts, there's apparently been footage of Michael Keaton saying, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts."
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they screened footage from Flash. Mm-hmm. Now, I think Warner Brothers has a problem on their hands because Ezra Miller has been acting out.
Yeah.
And so they're in the Fantastic Beasts.
Right.
Which Warner Brothers noticeably left them out of the marketing.
Yeah.
Although there's another one. It just kind of came and went.
I was just going to say, I remember that was coming, and now I'm realizing that it has already happened.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not on that train, so I kind of haven't been.
Yeah, but it feels like even people who are on the train aren't on the train.
Yeah, that's a weird series. I don't know. I mean, it's not based on books, right? I mean, it's just sort of an extension.
It's an extension of J.K. Rowling's sort of ideas. And she's written the scripts for all of them. Like, you wonder, because this third Fantastic Beasts movie underperformed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yes, it was number one, but it opened less than any of the previous ones. And this is meant to be a 5-part series.
Right.
But my understanding is that they created the third one to serve as a finale if needed.
Oh, interesting.
So I would assume that that's the case.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen people talking about it online, and part of this reaction is being chalked up to J.K. Rowling.
Right.
Being sort of a controversial figure.
I feel like it has a lot working against it, but
yeah.
Also, I've seen people divided on even what it's about. Some people saying they wish it was more about this than that. And, like it just...
Well, I mean, yeah, it started out as, here's a story in the wizarding world that's off to one side of the stuff that you know. So like that all happens in England. This is happening in America. But then with each one, I mean, this last one is called The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Right.
And I feel like the fourth one would have been the Harry of the Potter.
Right.
Like they're just getting closer and closer. And and again, anybody who's listened to this show for a while knows I have no interest in it. But it does feel like, well, Eddie Redmayne was the main character at some point.
I know. Right.
He feels like the guest star of this series now, you know?
Yeah, and there's some other character. Again, I just like one review I read of it, but that people I apparently like, but she's hardly in this one, and it just feels like a lot of miscalculations.
Yeah, and so the Rowling of it all. I wonder, like, and when I talk about the controversy, maybe people don't know what I mean. You know, she's been vociferous on Twitter about being critical of trans people to the point where I'm kind of like, all right, like you're on the record, fine, your objection is noted.
Yes, noted. Exactly. Yes.
There's no mystery. We know how you feel.
Yeah.
Like, give it a rest, you know?
Right.
And so a lot of people, and this is just anecdotally from talking with my students, a lot of them have said, I'm a Harry Potter fan, but I don't want to see it because of J.K. Rowling. So I don't know. Maybe that factors in.
I mean, there is these days a lot of having to separate the art from the artists, right? I mean, and it's to what degree can you do that?
Yeah. Well, it looks like The Flash may end up being another case of that because Ezra Miller is apparently just going around Hawaii smacking people.
I actually, you sent that really funny Spider-Man thing.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I sent it to you should explain, yeah.
Yeah. So it's from the 2002 Spider-Man movie when Tobey Maguire is about to fight Flash Thompson. And the caption is, all of Hawaii when Ezra Miller shows up. And Tobey Maguire's like, I don't want to fight you, Flash.
Yeah. Well, I sent it to my brother because he was in Hawaii. And I was just like, watch out for Miller, okay?
So now, Warner Brothers has a problem because this movie is going to be coming out in a year.
Yeah.
And by the time it's released, it's going to be Batman featuring special guest appearance cameo by the Flash.
Which, my monkey paw finger just curled up. And you're welcome.
Brian's 100% on board with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that's headed. And then in terms of other releases, they screened the entirety of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
And it's getting honestly rave reviews to the extent that I am very suspicious of those reviews now.
I have learned my lesson with these early Twitter reviews.
Yeah.
They're almost always rapturous.
Yes, exactly.
But they're consistent, the Top Gun ones, they pointing out the same sort of things that they enjoyed about the movie. So that has given me, I was already on board for it, but I'm like, oh, well, it sounds like,
and you're not a particularly huge fan of the first one.
No, like I just like it just fine as an 80s movie, like that I remember, but I don't revisit a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like Kaczynski, right? That's Joseph Kaczynski.
That's right.
And I think he's a really amazing visual director. And I just want to see something whiz bang, And that would be enough for me. But like if it's also a great story, obviously that's what I'm really hoping for, is like a story I really care about. And if it's all those things together, then wonderful.
So there's that for Tom Cruise, and then of course there's Mission Impossible 7,
which is now sort of like a part 1, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they filmed part 1 and part 2 together, but they've like kept part 2 like close to the chest because they don't want the studio like fumbling with it.
Yeah, and I don't have a intimate knowledge of this, but it seems it was going to be, say, I'm lost in the numerage of this, but like 7 and 8, I guess.
That's right.
But now it sounds like this. I don't have the title in front of me, but it's like Mission Impossible something.
It's
part 1.
Dead Reckoning,
but like part 1, and then
part 1 and then part 2. Yeah.
Instead of it being like 8, it's like this is part 1. The next one's gonna be part 2 of this story. So,
and this is the Ethan Hunt finale.
Yeah, who would have thought? That? By the way, he's been doing these since like 96.
96.
Yeah.
right? Longest lasting action hero ever, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe action character. Yeah.
Um, but I think it's time for more Tom Cruise legacy sequels.
Okay, which what are you thinking?
Knights of Thunder. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, I've
I
never seen
actually,
Days of Thunder. Is that worth checking out?
it's worth checking out on a Quick and the Dead level, I would say.
Got it. Tony Scott, right?
Tony Scott. It's a
Yep.
Tony Scott movie you haven't seen, so there's going to be that.
Yep.
I would say this though, in all honesty, how about a Color of Money sequel with him in the Paul Newman role?
I 100% after seeing The
Right?
Hustler and Color of Money so close together, I would totally be down for that.
I think that would be a really good idea.
Because he's like such a cocky hotshot in that movie. So
Yeah.
let's see what he's like all these years later. Yeah, I think
I'm going to go ahead and say he's still a cocky hotshot based on literally every other Tom Cruise character
yeah, probably.
that he continues to play.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about in the Top Gun Maverick trailer, where he's like,
Yes.
60-year-old Maverick. They're like, Maverick, you got to listen to the rules. No, I don't.
Right. Why do we keep calling this guy? Yeah.
Anyway, here's some other news. This is related to the next Fast and Furious movie.
Mm-hmm.
They got a
Oh,
problem.
they're in production. Things are going well.
Well, things were going well. They shot for about a week, and at the end of the first week, Vin Diesel posted a video on social media. You see this?
Yeah, I've seen a screen grab of it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it looked like a hostage video.
Yeah.
Because it's Vin Diesel talking to Justin Lin, who has previously directed 5 of these things.
Yeah.
And Vin is like, "Hey Justin, what do you think about what we're doing here?" Or something like that. And Justin Lin's like, "My name is Justin Lin. I have a wife and 2 children." Like he's holding up a newspaper. He's like, "It's a good beginning to the end," or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I saw that first. I saw that previously, and I was like, maybe he just doesn't like being on camera. And then like 3 days later, it's like, yeah, he's out. He's not directing Fast. First of all, they're calling it Fast X.
Fast X.
Right? And I'm like, Fast 10. Your seatbelt was just sitting there.
I know. Fast 10. That's good.
I'm very upset about that.
Yeah.
So a week into filming, he's out. He's remaining on as a he'll get a paycheck from it basically.
Yeah,
I don't think
producer,
he'll have he won't have any actual involvement. But the question then is, well, who do they find to direct this?
And also, that's a huge deal. 1 week into production of a major movie like this, I was reading it,
and especially because he knows the ropes. I mean, he's been doing. He is. Despite what Vin Diesel will tell you, he is singularly responsible for making this the franchise it is.
Continue. Yep. 100%. Right? He is family.
Yeah.
Right? Sure. I mean, it's what could make this happen? I don't know. And I was reading this, until they find a new director, this is costing them $600,000 to $1 million a day.
Yeah, because they just got to keep people around. They got to still pay them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oy, what a mess. I was like, well, why not go back to who did the first? Oh, because Rob Cohen, who has been the subject of his own accusations. And then John Singleton passed away.
Right.
You got F. Gary Gray. He's doing something else. James Wan. He's doing something else. Who's going to jump in and do this?
Man, I don't know. I mean, and who would want to? Who the type of person that they'll need with like experience and vision and action experience and whatnot to just jump into this? I mean, who would want to do that?
Watch this end up with Vin Diesel directing.
Very likely.
I mean, I'm just like, I could easily see that scenario happening.
And he's going to do some posts about talking about fathers stepping up to support the family. You know what I mean? He's totally going to make it into some.
I would love Dwayne Johnson to direct. As long as somebody's making a behind the scenes documentary. I don't even watch the actual movie. I just want to watch the documentary.
Yeah, me too. I feel like that their Heart of Darkness.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which I just watched like 3 days ago, Hearts of Darkness.
Oh, really?
not for the first time. I've seen it, but I screened it for my students in my alternative cinema class.
Yeah.
That is a great doc.
Yeah, we watched that at film school. And after watching Godfather, I want to watch 2 again. I want to watch Apocalypse Now again. I'm sort
Nice.
of in
Look at that. You're Francis Coppola skating. I love it.
Yeah, not to be all name droppy or whatever, but we went out because we, like I said, have a friend visiting, so we wanted to do like Hollywoody stuff, and we went to Musso and Frank's, which is kind of an iconic Hollywood restaurant. It's over 100 years old, and so they put us in like the booth, which we were like, wow, how did we get this booth? And the waiter kept saying like, this is Coppola's booth. Oh yeah, like Sophia and him come here all the time, and this is where they sit, and he's put me in all his movies and whatever. So it's just so funny. Like Coppola is definitely in my sort of orbit at the moment. So I may as well keep going with that.
Well, and you've seen The Conversation, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because there's another one that sort of gets looked past.
Yeah, but a good sort of 70s, thriller.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we saying? Sorry. Yeah. So
yeah, Fast X,
and your seatbelt. I don't know what's happening with that movie.
Yeah. But I mean, they got all these stars. Think about all their schedules, right? I mean, they have to.
Right.
Excuse me. They just got like Brie Larson, and they have Charlize Theron and all these people. Like their calendars are like booked years in advance, and these movies have to pay to hold them, and it's just what a nightmare this must be.
Yeah, I can't imagine the Universal people are thrilled about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no. They say it was amicable. Of course, it wasn't amicable. Whenever they say it's amicable, it wasn't.
Yeah. No,
if it was amicable, he wouldn't be leaving a week into production.
No, exactly.
So, in my mind, it has to be some kind of beef between him and Vin Diesel. I don't know what else it could have been.
Yeah. I wonder if like Vin Diesel posting these things is his way of sort of exercising power. The way he does this.
It's totally that, right? I mean, he did that thing with The Rock, remember?
Yeah. But for sure. But I mean, I know we're in agreement, but I'm just saying, like, if Justin Lin was like having a bad week, he's like, hey, let's make a video. I'm going to post this video about what good pals we are. Like it's just some weird thing he does. But I don't know.
Social media is going to destroy the world. I mean, this is just another data point.
Yeah. Well, real quick, if I could get your opinion actually on the Elon Musk thing on Twitter, I was kind of curious about that.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I mean,
maybe that's too big a topic, but
yeah, when you say quick, it sucks. Moving on. No, for me, there's something I'm fascinated by, which is this slavering devotion that people exhibit for Elon Musk.
Mm.
And I find that puzzling at best. It's sort of like people are choosing the billionaire who will defend them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, billionaires are looking out for billionaires. And I'm not trying to be like anti-capitalist Zaki.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do you honestly think Elon Musk buying Twitter is to make humanity better? Or is it to burnish his either bottom line or his reputation or what have you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? As soon as somebody says, I'm a free speech absolutist, which is a nonsense phrase, that tells me they're not a serious person.
Right, sure.
And I mean, he's demonstrated repeatedly he's not a very serious person. And his whole purchase of Twitter is a reflection of that. Not that Twitter was all sunshine and rainbows beforehand.
Sure.
But yes, he's going to make it worse. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Because this notion that stopping people from spreading misinformation, stopping people from saying things that are homophobic or racist or whatever, doing that is somehow inhibiting people's free speech. That tells me you don't understand what free speech is.
Mm-hmm.
And so the notion that I'm going to come in here, I'm going to make things better by just opening up the floodgates. Well, no, it's going to make things worse. I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
Right. And we're already look at how toxic our discourse is already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think the answer is more, more of that, right?
Right.
Instead, it's more being able to not so much necessarily restricting people outright, but being able to say, look, you need to speak within this framework, right? Where we treat each other with respect or what have you. You know. I mean, I've used examples like this all the time. You know, I'll post stuff on Twitter. I use Twitter all the time, and I'll be like, "Hey, I really liked this movie." Something, and somebody will be like, "Go F yourself."
Right.
That's not me paraphrasing. That's a verbatim interaction I've had.
Right.
And you know, I'm continually fascinated. Like, why? What prompts one to do that? Now, do we think more of that is going to make things better? No, you're just flooding the zone with more nonsense, right? And then there's a broader question here of, you say $44 billion on a goddamn website, you know?
Yeah. I mean, what could he possibly even do to it that's worth $44 billion to them? I mean, well, then it goes straight to, like what you said, bottom line. Somehow there's a bottom line for him.
Somehow, you know, even think about this. If nothing else, that amount of money didn't matter, like isn't a big enough deal for him to even think twice about it.
Right.
I mean, look, man, if I had $1 billion, you would never hear from me again.
Right.
I'd be like Will Hunting at the end of that movie. I'd be like, sorry, Brian, I got to see it. Well, I already got a girl, but I got to see about something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the idea of, think about it, 44 billion is a fraction of what he's actually worth, and he's doing this. Think about how much legitimate good you could do with that.
Oh, I know.
Right. And so I'm not sitting here in judgment of him, but I am saying, you know, maybe he's got too much money, you know?
Right.
Think about how many hot toys, Brian, you could buy with $44 billion. Well, those are my thoughts on that. I know it's not exactly fully formed, but
I put you on the spot, but I was interested, so thank you. I was curious.
Well, speaking of potential boondoggles, here's another one. CNN Plus. You hear about this? It's almost a trick question.
No, I know. I was like, what's the clever sort of response here? Like, no, I'll have to look into it, you know?
So CNN Plus it was a streaming service, and they spent months hyping this thing up. And it launched at the start of this month. And I was talking about with my media students, and I was like, you know, the CNN Plus service launched today. And I said to them, I was like, who's the audience for this thing? I don't know. It seems like a big potential waste of money. And like 3 weeks later, they announced that it's shutting down.
I mean, what happens in those 3 weeks that makes you flush millions and millions of dollars down a toilet?
I mean, tens of millions of dollars were spent on not only the buildup of the service, but the marketing and everything. And this was meant to be a platform where you could go and watch daily interview shows and whatever. And I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, why don't you put all that stuff on CNN?
Yeah, because it wasn't streaming CNN, the network, right?
That's
I mean, if you say you didn't have cable and you thought, oh, well, I'll get CNN Plus, so I'll still have that channel, you didn't through this, right?
So weird. Yeah. And so I mean, it was ill-conceived all the way around. And so Warner Brothers merged with Discovery Media. And so the new owners come in, they took one look at it and they're like, nope, shut it down. Shut it down. And just like that, I mean, this, we now have a new, they out-Quibied Quibi, basically.
Yeah. Quibied Quibi. Yep.
Yeah. Because Quibi itself, when we'd start, we were like, well, this seems like a bad idea. But I think what's related to this is, you know, the news broke just last week about how Netflix stock is down because their subscribers have dwindled. Right? Not dwindled, but dropped.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know how many people subscribe, but they lost what was like 200,000, which frankly doesn't sound that terrible to me. And a lot of that had to do with them pulling out of Russia for, you know, world reasons. However, I think what it was they said that in the next quarter, they expected to lose up to 1 million.
Okay.
Because when I heard the 200,000, I was like, shrug. But they are forecasting that it's not going to get better right away. So it looks like they're trying to figure out what to do next, right? I mean, they've talked about having an alternate sort of way to subscribe where you could pay less but have ads.
Right.
Something they said they would never do years ago.
They want to tamp down on like password sharing.
Yeah, which is, I don't know how exactly you do that.
How do you? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. And I mean, will that drive people away? I don't.
The problem I see, and this goes to a conversation we've had a few times, is that you're going to hit the ceiling in the streaming economy.
Yes.
And so we're sort of seeing that already, right? CNN Plus might conceivably be at Exhibit A, and then we have Netflix, which, I mean, they would spend money like drunken sailors to get people to come and make stuff for them, and yet that stuff tends not to really stay in the consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reading about how this new season of Stranger Things, they've spent $30 million an episode.
Yeah,
which is,
wild.
I mean, that's I mean, how do you justify that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, wholly unnecessary. Like, I mean, maybe sort of like I was, Game of Thrones or something. I think of, some of the episodes where there was like the one with the enormous battle. And like, that's the one where you shove a ton of money on that one, but this one doesn't need to cost so much. And that's like these kids in basements. Like, does every episode need to cost that? The answer to that is no. So I don't know,
I mean, and I don't know that it's doing the creatives any favors either. I mean, working within limitations isn't the worst thing in the world.
And that's, I mean, we'll get to that with Ambulance, but I mean, I've said Six Underground, I think, was maybe the worst Michael Bay movie I've seen, to the point where it was like incomprehensible, and I just didn't care. I don't even think I finished it, which is, and it's on Netflix, a Michael Bay movie. Why wouldn't I finish it? It's right there in my living room. But yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely going to need to be a rethink over there and take a step back, evaluate.
I mean, Netflix has become legendary for canceling shows after 2 or 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's also a sense like people might be gun shy about committing to new shows. There's also, like, other than Cobra Kai, what Netflix show has stretched past a 3rd season?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I
hear that a lot.
Right?
Yeah. But, I think when you talked about the ceiling earlier, I thought you were going to allude to the fact that how long can you keep getting new people? Like, at some point it has to level out, and you're going to lose some this month and you're going to gain some that month. And like, it's not going to be until the end of time you keep gaining people.
Well, that's so that process of people jumping off and jumping on, that's called churn, right? And so the goal with all of these streaming services has been to minimize the amount of churn.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal is they just want people who subscribe, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But to your point, even that, let's say you do minimize the churn, at some point, I mean, you're going to run out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do next? And we talked in a previous episode about like the Halo streaming show.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they're just, clearly they're spending a lot of money on it, but is it driving enough subscribers to Paramount Plus to justify the expense?
Right.
Or is it just people who are already on it? I mean, I don't know,
it makes me think, once you do get that sort of level out moment, then you increase the price, right? But they've just keep doing that as they're growing, and I think it has turned some people off and made them leave. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they should have saved that tactic.
I should just mention this real quick. The CW, they announced that they canceled Batwoman.
Right. I just saw that.
And they also canceled DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So, this whole Arrowverse, which has been going since the early part of the last decade, it's gradually kind of fading away. So I tweeted as such. I said, the Arrowverse is slowly receding into history.
Mm-hmm.
And I was responded to by John Glover, the John Glover.
Oh.
He played the Riddler on Batman the Animated Series, and he was Dr. Woodrue in Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of course, Lionel Luthor. Actually, he's got quite a few. He was also Dr. Sivana's dad in Shazam.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
No, he's great.
So he responded with just one word: overdue. So clearly not an Arrowverse fan.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is with Shazam, I took my youngest son at the time when that movie came out, and he would have been, gosh, when did that movie come out? 2019, right?
Feels right. Yeah.
So he was like 5, I think. And I was like, oh, he's a little young, but I feel like it's a fun superhero movie. And like the first scene is him like getting mad at his son and being like, "You little piece of shit."
That's right.
So I was like, oh, geez, I hope I didn't scar him.
Right.
So thanks, John Glover, for that.
Yeah. Right. Don't
This
make
has been
Daddy
John
angry.
Glover's thoughts on the DCU. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Arrowverse. All right. Hey, let's take another short break, Brian, and then we got some movies to talk about.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And we are back. And hey, Brian, you know who else is back?
Who's that?
Michael Bay in theaters.
That's right.
So,
After
you know who did not
Underground.
come back, Brian?
Oh,
Viewers.
Right. Yeah, that's worth some thoughts. Why do you think that is? I mean,
So we're talking about the new movie Ambulance, which
Ambulance,
Michael Bay
yeah.
directed, the latest Bay joint,
yep.
starring Jake Gyllenhaal, starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Great cast. Certainly, he is a marquee director,
Mm-hmm.
and so you would imagine that people.
Is he though?
Okay.
We know him, right? Like in our teens, there was The Rock, there was, all that. Did people see Transformers because they were Michael Bay movies or because they were Transformers movies? And along the way, did a generation not really get endeared to Michael Bay?
That is a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but I think
know.
you may be onto something.
Yeah, because I mean, this really underperformed.
Yeah, and I would. Well, I wouldn't call it a tragedy. I would reserve that word for actual tragedies. I would call it a gosh darn shame.
Yeah. No, this is like a good reason to go to the theater, I think.
I agree. So we talked about this a little bit. I went for I watched the first 20 and then I got called out, but then I came
that's
back
right.
in.
Yeah.
And I actually timed my second viewing impeccably. I have to say, we came back in right when we left off. I mean, it was like down to the second.
Wait, what? You didn't start from the beginning?
No, because I was like, it's like half an hour. I can save that.
Ah, huh. I'm impressed that you, even considering the trailers and everything at the beginning, you found the moment.
I did some mathematical, beautiful mind shit.
Yeah.
to get there, and so I took my oldest, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I was engaged the whole way. I thought the characters were interesting. It was exactly what I was looking for from that kind of a movie.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get this out of the way. I liked it. I will admit, I think it got a little overhyped for me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I kept seeing everyone say it was Michael Bay's best movie since The Rock. So I went in expecting something.
And it's not The Rock. Yeah.
It's not The Rock. And I think I course corrected about halfway through when I realized it wasn't going to be The Rock. And then I was able to enjoy it. And what I'll say is this. Basically, it's Speed meets a Monster Energy drink, right? and that's cool. That's cool. But I think with The Rock, I mean the Rock is like really cohesive. I'm on the page. I mean, it's a very sturdy story.
Now, to be fair about The Rock,
yes.
How much of that is your emotional affinity for that film because of how long you've lived with it?
Well, see, now here's the thing. I have had to reckon with it because when I showed it to Federica, she didn't love it.
Yeah, and you said her brother wasn't crazy about it.
And her brother, who is much younger, he also just did not click with it. And so it made me think,
both wrong, and that's okay. It's okay to be wrong. But go on.
But I do think objectively, like, you don't have to like its style. You don't have to like how over the top style. But I do feel like if you were to read that script, there is a very clear villain plot arc. There's it's a good script. I think, and I think this movie started off. Like once they started getting into the chase, it just sort of felt like they were circling the city for a while. I just kind of lost track of what they were ultimately trying to reach. Like they were just basically pummeling through things for a while, versus having obstacles they had to conquer, which is fun and it looked cool. But I could sense I was missing what Speed did so well in having those great goals for them to get across or to conquer through the chase. But then we can get into spoilers about the specifics, but then in the middle, there's something that they do in the ambulance where it's like, we've got to do this now. And I really connected with that. And then, the ambulance or the EMT starts connecting with one of the robbers, and I started connecting with it. And I feel like from that point on, that's when it really clicked for me. Sure. And I also caught on to the fact that this is going to be more sizzle than I sort of expected when I was hearing these rock comparisons.
Sure. See, I was just like, oh, there's no like upskirt shots.
Yes.
So therefore, this is a more mature Michael Bay. That's it.
So, but it is. But yeah, that's when I was able to enjoy it and like get on its wavelength a bit more. And when it was over, I was like, I mean, look, man, what's not to like about what I just saw on a big screen? There was a shot. It's in the trailers, I believe. I've seen it everywhere online, where they're in the LA River, which is basically just a canal with puddles. And, there's like 2 police helicopters, an ambulance splashing through the puddles, and Jake Gyllenhaal with a machine gun, like shooting back at the helicopters. Mm-hmm. I think in the theater, I was like, what's not to like?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's so different than what we get these days,
Yeah.
It's, it was certainly for me, by the time we got to the end, it felt emotionally fulfilling for me. Like it reached a place where I was like, what's going to happen? And then it resolved in a way where I'm like, okay, I like where this all wrapped up.
100%. I mean, yeah, I think, again, my takeaway is I really like the second half of this movie more than I like the first.
The first, we talked about this before, but it really did feel like Michael Bay went hog wild with the drone.
It's funny. I had heard that before I saw it, and it is nuts. But I was like, it's cool.
It's all. I mean, it looks great, but you can tell he's like up, down, side to side, loop to loop. Like,
and it's not even just there's the obvious things, right? Where he goes over a building or down a building, and then catches up with the ambulance, and then a cop car, and swoops in. But it's also when they're inside. I mean, this is in the trailer, but in the bank robbery that happens in the first act. I mean, he has a drone like zipping through the bank just to a door when someone's going to answer.
There's one. I mean, there's one shot where it's like a car that's like going on an incline. It kind of flips over, and you have a drone that goes under it.
Oh yeah.
And you have to marvel at his eye for being able to get a shot like that.
And you got to wonder too how many drones they destroyed on accident.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. They just had one. They just had by the end it was covered with duct tape and Band-Aids.
Yeah. I had heard that they had hired like some kid who's like some sort of champion at droning, whatever that means.
By the end, one drone, it looked like old Bob from the Black Hole. That one robot.
Wow, that's a pull. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. You're like, oh, I don't feel so good. Yeah.
Oh, actually, one thought before I forget. Garrett Dillahunt in the movie, he plays like the cop who's like chasing them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? He's got the beard.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me you didn't get Paul Shirey vibes off that guy.
Wow. Yeah. Now that you say it. Yeah. Actually, for a minute, I was trying to convince myself it was Josh Duhamel.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it might as well be. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, dude. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, at some point there was like a transporter accident, and we got Josh Duhamel and Garrett Dillahunt and dude from Justified, Oliphant.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly, maybe this is just me like saying all white people look alike to me. I'd have trouble telling them apart. I don't know.
No, 100%.
But no, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the emotional aspect of it. I thought Gyllenhaal was having fun, just being nuts,
Yes,
you
yeah.
know. And I like Yahya Abdul-Mateen just in general, but I
Yes.
really liked him in this.
He
I
brings a
thought,
lot to that character for
yeah,
sure.
so
A lot
like
of heart.
gravitas, you know.
Yep. Yep.
And I believe the actor who plays the EMT is Aiza Gonzalez. I think that's her name.
Yeah, she's good.
She was solid too. I mean, she felt like sort of from the Michael Bay school of actors, you know.
Yeah, but
Actresses.
it's funny because she wasn't sexualized,
No.
and she's absolutely gorgeous, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, like you say, it was refreshing that it wasn't about her looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she really did have a character and she had an arc. She had a journey through this
There's
movie,
no drone shot like crawling up her leg,
for sure. Which
is nice.
I mean, frankly, literally, you could kind of imagine in some of his
Oh
earlier
yeah,
films.
totally.
Yeah.
Now, the movie cost $40 million, which is
Which is
on the
shocking.
Michael Bay scale. That's like Blair Witch Project. If you're
Blair Witch Project.
right, like on a Michael Bay movie, that's like the catering budget.
And it doesn't feel less than anything, right? I mean,
No, that's my point. Like, I think having those limitations actually did him a favor, because I think, going back to what you said earlier about how people are saying it's his best movie since The Rock. I think there is still there's a drop in quality between the two. It's more a reflection of everything he's done between now and The Rock.
yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
Yeah.
certainly this is his smallest scale movie since probably
Pain and Gain.
Yeah, but I mean his action movies, because Pain and Gain isn't really an action movie. But it's a small scale action movie since like Bad Boys.
Yeah, which gets name checked in here.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
references himself more than once.
The Rock also.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That was very sweet. I like the whole police officer thing.
Yeah.
With the teller and all that. Going back to budget, something that I also thought about was, there's scenes where they've, much like Speed, right? They have to go through all these crazy landmarks and, crash through them. And one of them was Staples Center, which is no longer, it's Crypto, whatever it's called now. But I was like, oh, wow, there's...
For the next 6 months until they change it back.
Right.
Let's be real.
But there didn't seem to be... Like, everything was vacant. And I thought, oh, wow, this must have been...
Pandemic.
Well, obviously during the pandemic, and in a way that might have worked to their advantage. That
totally. Oh, no doubt.
I'm sure the Staples Center was like, yes, please pay us for something for like a couple days. And so they had...
there's so many overhead shots where you got the ambulance going along these streets and stuff. They had free reign
of the city. Yep.
Yeah. L.A. of all places,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where,
I mean, when else? They probably would have had to pay to shut down all sorts of things in a normal year.
I mean, L.A. has traffic jams break out within its own traffic jams.
It's true. It's sad. It's true.
So yeah. I mean, I was very much attuned to that, because I was like, I've sat in some of those areas. I know what that's like.
Yeah. But remember that one time? This is just the you and me story here. But remember we were driving on the freeway and there was the double yellow lines for the carpool lane, and we saw a guy go gear into it, and then immediately out of nowhere, a police officer on a motorcycle just right after him, and we're like, "Whoa!"
Well, because I was sort of musing,
toying
like,
with
hey,
the idea.
Maybe I should get into the car, because that's what it was. I was not in the carpool lane.
Yeah,
or I was trying to get out of it. I can't remember. It was one or the other.
Yeah,
and I was tossing it over, and I said it. I was like, "Yeah, maybe I should."
Yeah,
so, okay,
that was crazy.
So yeah, the movie has made $47 million against a $40 million budget. So it is absolutely a disappointment. But it really does feel like a movie that is made to be discovered on I was going to say home video, but at home, let's just say.
Which is a bummer. I mean, it was a good big movie.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, it's definitely for spectacle, right? I mean. But,
well, and in a nod to how the MCU has sort of broken us a little bit, when the movie ends and the credits start rolling, my kid is like, "Hey, is there a post-credit scene?"
I actually did stick around for a little bit just to be sure.
I'm like, what? And I told him, I was like, "What do you think? Somebody's Nick Fury's going to show up and ask Ask him to join the Avengers. Like, what's going to happen here?
Yeah, some like firefighter, or, another.
We're not. Are we setting up like the ambulance cinematic universe? Lifeguard boat or whatever. That's the next one.
Lifeguard boat. That feels like a show Homer would watch.
Right. What was that? Night boat?
Night boat. It's we can't go. There's no way to get around it. It's like, oh look, there's a canal. Oh, there's always a canal.
There's always a canal. So that is Ambulance, but there's another movie out right now, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There's like one scene I want to talk about, but I think it's fine.
Are you sure?
There's like a big set piece in the middle of the movie where they have to do something harrowing in the ambulance.
Oh, that's
right. And they basically get these people to contribute basically through Zoom.
Yes.
And I was like, I've never seen this before. Mm-hmm. And I was really into it. And it was very kind of gross, but sometimes I would look away just, but I couldn't stop looking because I was like, this is riveting.
Yeah.
Like that might've been one of my favorite sort of ideas in the film of something that they had to do in this crazy circumstance. So I just wanted to check that moment.
I had a similar reaction to that scene, which it felt to me like sort of the stuff in the middle of Speed, where it's like, oh, now we're running out of gas and we got to do there's like the thing that you have to add in just to keep the story going longer, and it works. But I was fascinated by how video conferencing has become such an accepted part of society. And then when you step outside yourself a little bit, you're like, this was like science fiction 10 years ago.
Yeah. 100%, because I can imagine a version of that, even by Michael Bay, where I think this is ridiculous what I'm seeing, and to some degree it was, but at the same time I bought into it, and I found it really compelling.
Yeah,
and I would say too, just without getting into spoilers, then where it all wraps up in the ending and the final bits, I found very nail biting and emotional and well done.
I agree.
Yeah.
It reminded me that the end, not the end, but like the final bit of tension. It reminded me of the end of Three Kings.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah. Wow, good. You're totally right.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
So it's a thumbs. It's a thumbs slightly higher up from me for Ambulance, but I think we both end.
I would say know what you're getting into. And like good spectacle.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about the other thing that you saw?
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
Which everybody's just calling it Nicolas Cage, which I find very funny.
I know. I actually, when the title comes up at the end, I think forgotten what it was actually called. This is like such a wild movie.
Yeah.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is basically, the Nick Cage movie, right? Where Nicolas Cage plays himself, or at least a version of himself. I didn't realize this, but in real life, he goes, but Nick is N-I-C, but in this movie, he's N-I-C-K.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. And in real life, he has two sons, and this one he has a daughter. So it's slightly alternate, multiversy, I guess, if you want to.
Well, this is like Space Jam isn't really Michael Jordan.
Yes. That's great. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, the whole premise is basically this really wealthy, mysterious person pays $1 million to have Nicolas Cage come to his place. And along the way, Nicolas Cage encounters the CIA, who says, oh, well, this guy's like a really bad dude, and we need you to work for us to bring him down. And I mean, see that trailer, what's not to like, right? And I thought this was a perfectly enjoyable time. I don't think I was like over the moon for it per se. Yeah. But I think there's you step back and think of the million ways this movie could have gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, it could have been entirely meta. Right. And at times the movie does get a little meta, like as they enter the third act, they literally start talking about the third act of a movie.
Right.
But I thought they balanced that really well. And I would say, I think if you have any interest in this, you're probably going to like it. I did like it. But I think what I wish had been a little stronger was everything with Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage to me was like A+. Like, loved it. Loved their chemistry. Pedro Pascal is so great.
He's hilarious in this.
So funny. I feel like every other character didn't live up to whatever they were doing. Like the CIA people, they actually reminded me, see if you know what I'm talking about here. But every time the Farrelly brothers make a movie, they always have to add some sort of antagonist to like Jim Carrey, or to, whoever. And so they add these sort of rote characters. And every time you cut to them,
this is Ike Barinholtz and Tiffany Haddish.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the CIA characters, and like, they're just sort of the people that appear every now and then because the movie sort of requires it. And they're like, come on. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, not again. Can you believe this? And like, that's, you know what I mean? It's almost like they just filmed them saying 20 versions of that phrase and then spliced it up and cut it throughout the movie. And so they didn't, I wish they had.
It feels like their job was to be in the trailer.
Yeah, and that's not a knock against those performers, because I love Tiffany Haddish and Ike Barinholtz, and I think they're fine. But like, I just felt like the script didn't spend as much time considering those characters, which is what it is. But it, and then also the family stuff was pretty good.
Nick Cage and his family, you mean?
Yeah, but it also felt a little undercooked, where it was just sort of like upset family.
Sure.
And like every time we get to the wife, she's just mad at him, and it was like, all right, like I kind of, and so like, obviously I don't think it's a spoiler to say that they're probably going to like repair a little bit, but like, I wish I had felt it a little bit more than I did. But that's, it's, what do you want me to say about this movie? I mean, that's just how I felt.
I needed more drone footage, really. That was
No, I wish the peripherals had felt a little bit stronger to support everything else going on. Having said that, it is absolutely worth it alone just to watch the Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal of it all. So that's my ultimate overall feeling.
I love that Nick Cage is going for it. Like, he's committed to this ridiculous story.
Yeah.
But he's 100% on board. And I don't know about you, but what I kind of love is that it starts out like it's The Interview, the movie The Interview.
Oh, yeah. Like, right? You have this opportunity to take this person out that you're getting closer to.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it ends up kind of swerving, doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I like The Interview quite a bit.
Me too. I feel like we're on an island with that one, but
it does feel that's a movie that's grown in my estimation over the years. I find it hilarious, but
I do too.
But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like the Pedro Pascal character, like I was surprised how much I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes the well, no, you got to get rid of this guy. You're like, oh, maybe there's another way. Like, I kind of like that they made him complicated.
Yes, and their budding friendship is entirely believable. And when they're getting along and having fun, you have a smile on your face. Like, you love to see it.
Yeah, I had a big smile on my face for most of it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a movie that's aimed at a very specific audience, which is people who grew up watching Nick Cage action movies specifically.
Yeah.
So that puts it in there's like a 10-year range, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's not like really Face Off, and those are all getting sort of name checked, but less
the
Raising
Rock,
Arizona.
Con Air. That's right. You don't get Moonstruck or whatever.
Right. Although I think that gets name checked, and
it does. You're right.
It really gets sort of started with Wild at Heart, right? In a way.
Yes, that's right.
That's another version of Nick Cage. We get to see Nikki, yeah.
Which that whole thing was pretty funny. The whole persona that he's interfacing with.
Yes, which I would have loved to see, like a behind the scenes of that. Like
where he kisses himself.
Yes. You know what else this movie had that I think is incredibly rare that I loved was a good drug scene. You know what I mean? Like, typically when they're like, hey, do you want to do shrooms? Or like, oh no, I accidentally drank or ate the weed brownies. I'm like, ugh. So we're going to get 5 minutes of actors thinking they're being hilarious by talking to the wall. And, I rarely find those scenes to be actually funny.
Mm-hmm.
And this one I thought was maybe one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
They kind of swerved.
They kind of swerved, and it's about them and how much they care about each other, and like them desperately looking out for one another in these like situations they think are intense. And
The thing with the going over the wall was hilarious. I wish they didn't put that in the trailer.
Yeah. I talked to someone before I'd seen it, and they said that they wish they hadn't seen the trailer so many times because it gave away a lot of the best parts. And I actually thought it had more than that in the film. But that scene was hilarious. And there's a moment in the car where Pedro Pascal like turns and looks at him with this huge smile on his face.
Yeah, it's so funny,
dude. Yeah.
So there we go. It's a thumbs up for both of these movies then.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't call this like adaptation. You're like, damn. Like they just
this is not
really milked it for all it was worth to like a really impressive like bravo degree. And I wouldn't say this movie is as transcendent, but I thought it was a really fun time.
I certainly wish it was performed better. I mean, it has a $30 million budget. It's made less than $15 million so far. So it's probably going to end up not making its budget back, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And I do wonder if this becomes one of those things that people then discover and, unfortunately, later. But
by the way, I thought this was interesting. Lily Sheen, who plays his daughter, that's the daughter of Kate Beckinsale and Michael Sheen.
Oh.
Which, like, if you did like a Conan If They Mated of those two.
Wow, that's really funny. Yeah. Huh. But yeah, wait, real quick. I'm just curious. Like, I want to hear a little bit more from you. I mean, what really popped for you, and what, did anything that just didn't?
I think the vulnerability of the character Nick Cage that we get in the early goings. I mean, that feels like some reflection of what's happening inside Nicolas Cage for real.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene where he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna, I'll read for you," right? And he's doing this thing, and it's like kind of cringe-inducing.
Yeah.
But what I love is that they find a way to they come back to that moment in a way at the end,
Yeah.
where with that ridiculous monologue,
right?
And the director who he's talking to, that's David Gordon Green, I think, right?
Yes, yeah.
I read that they wanted somebody else. I can't remember who.
I think it was Tarantino.
Okay.
And but Nicolas Cage had a relationship with Green or something.
Oh, is that what it is? I mean, what's interesting is like Nicolas Cage, again, and maybe this is just a reflection of sort of our age, but like I'll always have a soft spot for Nicolas Cage. Like even if I don't go to see his movies, I always be like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage. He's a Nicolas Cage, for goodness sake," And I like that this movie really lives in that, Yeah. It looks at, no, I mean, here's a guy, he just acts, and he goes for it, and in the movie he's going for it, but in the what he speaks about in the movie is a reflection of that. He likes what he does.
Yeah.
I was on Twitter, people were talking about like, what is the first Nicolas Cage movie you saw in the theater? That was like a prompt going around, and there was a lot of people like, I've never seen a Nicolas Cage movie in the theater.
Interesting.
And I was like, and these are younger people, I guess, but I was like, is that? I mean, has it been that long since he was like that big of a star?
I'll believe it actually, because at least around 10 years ago, I remember working on a movie, and in the offices of this production company where I was, they had a Nicolas Cage movie poster, and I remember not knowing what it was.
Yeah.
And it was, during that era of the straight to DVD / streaming thing. So, I mean, he's been doing that for quite a while. So I can imagine, for a younger audience.
I mean, I'm struggling to think of not the first Nick Cage movie I've seen, but the last Nicolas Cage movie I saw in the theater.
I mean, Pig notwithstanding, which I did see.
I haven't seen that yet, although I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's good. I liked it.
Like I'm genuinely, I would have to go back to like Snake Eyes, maybe.
No kidding, really? What about like National Treasure or something?
Like I didn't see those in the theater. I missed those.
Yeah, I didn't either. Wow, maybe.
I mean, like I saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but I wouldn't
sure
count that. But well, hold on. Let me pull up his IMDb. Maybe I'm just
Yeah, but
I'm
it's funny you said, because I think that's where I am endeared to him, that era, because when I was really getting into movies in my teens, that was the
Yeah.
Rock, Con Air, Snake Eyes, Leaving Las Vegas, like that sort of run. So
That's
and
right.
I've since discovered Raising Arizona and all those movies, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Because I'm looking at his filmography right now. So 8 millimeter. There we go.
Wow.
That's the because I didn't see no. I'm sorry, but it was the same year. Bringing Out the Dead. I saw Bringing Out the Dead fall of '99,
Yeah, so did I.
and then because I didn't see Gone in 60 Seconds in the theater, I definitely didn't see
Oh,
Captain
I bet I
Corelli's
did. What was the other one? Oh,
Captain
Kevin. Yeah, I
Corelli's
haven't seen
Man
that. Which
Matchstick Man. You've
he
seen that,
says
right?
is underrated or underrated in this movie.
Underrated.
So
That's right.
maybe I should check it out.
You saw Matchstick Man, I think, right?
Oh, I love Matchstick Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So I there's quite a few I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see Wind Talkers. You know,
No, I didn't either.
a lot of people didn't watch that. But yeah, for
Yeah.
me, even though I don't know if you know this, Brian. You know, at College of DuPage, when I was attending there, I was also on the newspaper. You'd remember that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had a comic strip.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a superhero strip that continued week to week. It was called Jack of Diamonds, and it was about a vigilante who's out for revenge in a
like a
world he never
narrative.
made.
Like it wasn't just like a joke.
No, it was a real thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it wasn't like you were just doing like a punchline, like a Peanuts. Like
No.
you had
It was a continuing story that spanned whatever 56 weeks. That
wow.
I'm assuming if I read it now, I would cringe myself to death. But
I was just thinking you should publish it.
well, I probably not. I don't
Just
know,
to
but I'm
have.
gonna go ahead and say no.
Sure.
Probably. But yeah, it's like this guy who's a vigilante, whatever. And the person who I cast, I'm doing like air quotes, in the role was Nicolas Cage.
Oh wow.
And if you look at the artwork that I drew Nicolas Cage. It's 100% Nicolas Cage.
Huh.
So like when I say I was a big fan of his, I got the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
I was enough of a fan that I fan cast him in my superhero story. I would love, if I ever met Nicolas Cage, I would love to show him that.
Yeah. Actually, he seems like the type of guy that would think that's cool.
He'd probably get a kick out of it. Yeah, I'll show you if you haven't seen it. It's I scanned some of the artwork.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I was like, man, I haven't drawn in a while. Like I used to draw all the time.
Oh man, that's when we were first met. I mean, that was what you did. Yeah.
What's funny is I started writing to be able to say like, look, I can do other things than just draw. And then my writing just sort of took over, and now it's like, I used to be able to draw too. So it's funny how that works.
Yeah, you used to do sort of like caricatures of people, right? And you'd have them sign them.
Yeah. I used to I used to send that. I got a Jenna Elfman sent me. That was like first autograph I ever got.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are gonna be like, Jenna Elfman. I had such a big crush on Jenna Elfman when I was.
Oh man, yeah, Dharma and Greg
from that show, Dharma and Greg. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so my point is, we're talking. This was like 97, 98.
Yeah.
So just coming out of Con Air, coming out of Face Off, I was in full on Nick Cage mode. So I cast him in my comic strip, and so it's weird how like after Bringing Out the Dead, I just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
Now I feel, after watching this movie, I kind of feel bad. Like, sorry,
well, as they say in the movie, you never left. Or how's that go? What do they say?
Yeah, I think that's
something about like, I'm not back. I never left, or something. That's like right. That.
Yeah. But we're about to leave, Brian.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we got shit to do. It's a Saturday. We got stuff going on.
Yeah.
Because we are two wild and crazy guys. Less so now than 10 years ago, as we established at the beginning.
Yeah, I got laundry to fold, so it's not that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go from sitting on my computer desk to sitting on the couch downstairs. That's my time for the rest of the day. Yeah. But anything else you want to say about anything, Brian?
No,
any realizations about life or the world that you've reached?
And I'm being absolutely serious. I did think this earlier. It has been challenging trying to find time for us to sit down and do this. And most of that is coming from my end. And I think, it was like in the middle of a Saturday and we were sitting down. It's a little more difficult on weekends. But as we started talking, we were about 10 minutes in, I noticed my mood lifting. And I was just feeling happier. And I was like, man, I just never get tired of this. So I love doing this. Thank you. That's
Thank
the
you.
takeaway from this episode for me. I love this.
I really appreciate that, and of course, I've been looking forward to this because we've had so many things to talk about. Just sort of been updating our doc with all the things that are going on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you everybody for listening. And I did want to put out a shout out for our last commentary track, which we did, which is of course for The Godfather, which we were just referring to earlier. This is Eric Patrick on Twitter. He said, "No matter how many times you've watched The Godfather, this commentary track from Movie Film Podcast will increase your appreciation of the film," which was just an incredibly nice thing to say.
I saw that. I mean, gosh, thank you. I can't even believe that. That means a lot.
That's as Nick Cage would say, that's high praise. And we will be back soon with another commentary track, hopefully. So that's also coming up, and you can keep your ears peeled for that. Anything you want to hype up, Brian, while we have you?
I mean, Puppy Dog Pals, like new stuff isn't airing, but I mean, it's always there. It's on Disney Plus, Disney Junior, and more things to announce soon, which I can't wait to do.
I can't wait for you to do that too. Yeah, and I should mention my kids have blazed through all of Puppy Dog Pals.
Oh, really?
My 8-year-old's like, he's like, when is the next season of Puppy Dog Pals?
Aw, it's actually being staggered throughout the year, so new ones are coming, and they're fun ones too. The ones I really enjoyed doing, but yeah.
Yeah, I told him he's got to wait for it.
Yeah,
but he's already moved on. He's
right.
He's like, yeah, whatever.
Whatever, I'll watch Bluey.
Yeah, exactly. As for me, you can look for my writing at the San Francisco Chronicle, including by the time you listen to this, my review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds will have posted at the Chronicle website, so please look out for that. And I got some other fun stuff coming up. I got lots of irons in the fire. I got stuff happening.
Yeah, you
don't judge me.
Get off my back.
Yeah, seriously. But please, if you have any questions or comments for us, you can always email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. As Jiminy JWD40 said, we do respond.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's become one of my favorite parts of the show.
And we also respond to messages via Facebook, which is facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. You can hit like on that page, message us there. You can also comment on our latest episodes. Who knows? We may even read those comments on the show, as we did today. As always, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps, and we do appreciate it so very, very much. Mm-hmm. This has been Movie Film, episode 246. My gosh, we are barreling towards 250.
Wow.
Maybe we've got something planned for that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
you'll see too. When we get there, you'll know. And on behalf of my partner Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.